Alright, let's talk about extending your wires for the ender extender. So here's the deal. This is the stock wire for the Ender 3. Ender V2. I think it's the same size for the 3. If you bring the wire out the side, let's pretend like these are not here. If you bring the wire out the side, for example, right about there, you should be able to get full height. Let's look at this right here. Full height on the XL. The problem is the extruder wires. Alright, so if you also attach the extruder wires coming out the side like this, let's just put all this under here for a minute. Let's pretend it came out like that. Then you're really going to run out of room right here. So in my experience, 380 is kind of the max, depending on how you have the wires arranged up here. So right now I have them all wire tied to the Bowden tube, which is what most people do. Before I was doing this, I would just have it dangling, and it didn't bother me, but it seems to bother some people. So I decided to set it up like the general population would use it, and zip tie it to the Bowden tube and see exactly how short it is. And it's attached here to the extruder motor. It comes down here, and that's pretty much it. Now if I wanted to go the distance, let's turn this guy all the way up. Alright, so that's all the way up right now. You can see, so come back down here, we would require an extension. That's just period. There's just no way about it. So this video is to talk about extending the wires. Now I do have wire extensions, which seem to be just the right length. They're 30 centimeters. Okay. And depending on which way you arrange it, okay, one solution would be to come out the side, and you could dress it up using this poly flexible wrap. You just have to roast the ends of it with a lighter to so they won't fray like this, and then you can cut off your required length and you can dress it all up. But right now this is just for demonstration purposes. So right now I have the 30 centimeter extensions, 2 black and 2 red, and this is the thermistor extension, which is 50 centimeters. You could also use 30. This one might be too long. So here's our 30 extension. And the V2 has a little hook under the power supply. It's difficult for me to show it right now because of the way this is sitting. That you could hook all these wires and have it come out the back. Ugh. I had to pick the biggest printer in the house to do this on. So there is a small, it's hopeless, I can't show it to you. But at any rate, the way it would come out would be right there. There's a hook right under there, a metal hook. So we'll talk about this probably in a second. So all your wires would be bundled up right there, and you know, pretty much dangling like this. Okay, so you could get yourself some cable chains. Some people like the cable chains. That would make this look nice. My preference, actually, instead of bundling them all right here, is just use the clearance of the side and just bring them out right there. Then you can 3D print a mount right here for your wires to secure them right here. Okay? To me, that's the best option. And you can make it pretty. You can have these. Something I might work on is something where the square parts fit in there and you can just plug them in like that. I think that would be pretty slick. I might work on that. Have them all lined up like that. So let's talk about this guy. So this is the V2, and I have no idea. Sometimes I think the Creality people or engineers are stoned or something. Every other connector in here, 2-pin connector, looks like this. Except this one. Why? So at any rate, this does not stay in this one. It does not lock. This is the part cooling fan. So what I would suggest is some electrical tape around that guy. Since I have the tools and the pins and everything, I'm probably just going to replace this so it locks in like every other. You could, optionally, you could just cut this off and join them. Which actually I think I'll demonstrate that right now because it's a useful thing to know how to do. On the hot end wires, I've done that. I've done the joint right here. And all I did, this is not soldered or anything. These are just twisted together, folded over, and then I use the heat shrink. Okay, that's the cheater's way of doing it. Preferably you would solder them together. I'm just showing you how generally you can do this without special tools if you haven't collected all those tools that advanced hobbyists have. So right now I'm going to find I'm just going to use this pair of scissors since I don't have found a wire cutter. See, when you're in this hobby, you need these really expensive specialized tools to do this stuff. So we're going to use these high dollar cutters, and what I want to do is see what I was going to do. I was going to sacrifice this guy because I want this end. So I'll just cut this guy off right there. I don't need that much. Let's see how much I need. I'll plug them in. Alright. This one is overly long, so I'm going to cut it right about there. I keep showing this off camera. Damn it. Blooper reel. Alright. Figure out how much you need. Cut it off. And this is just a fan wire, so there's not a significant amount of juice going through there. Separate these two wires carefully. Try not to cut into which exactly what I did. There you go. Alright. Insulation. Alright. So what we're going to do Now, of course, I don't really know which positive or negative on this, so we're going to see if we can figure it out. Looking at this, we want them to face the same way. All right. So now I know that yellow is positive and red is positive. So we're going to attach the pausing. All right. Get yourself some heat shrink tubing. Place it on your short end, whatever, cut end wire, the cut end of the wire. Alright, so that's what we want. Alright. Now you can do this technique with the hot end wires, pretty much any wire that's relatively moderate or less current. Now we said yellow is positive. We're going to take the yellow and the red, going to match them up together, and we're going to twist. Just twist 3 or 4 times. And we're going to fold that over. Slide your heat shrink tubing. And get your lighter, if you have one. Hair dryer or heat gun will work as well. Smoky time. Alright. Now do the blue wire and the black wire. Of course, this really only applies to the V2 because of that strange connector on the end we had to deal with. But it's a good time to demonstrate this technique of splicing wires. And this is not a mission critical part. It is to your print, but this joint will suffice. Probably going to be a lot of haters out there saying that'll never work, shouldn't do it that way, but that's the way I'm doing it. And I can plug that in, and there we have our wires extensions. Back to the poly tube. Let's show you this stuff. Again, with your lighter, you want to just melt the frayed ends a little bit. Keep them open. Now they're good to go. Kind of overcooked that one. Trim it up a little bit. Otherwise it'll bug me. And then you cut off how much you need. Disconnect all your wires. And you know, this would be kind of difficult because this is narrow stuff. They make different sizes, and I bought this for like 2 or 3 wires, not this huge bundle. So I would probably take this whole thing off and go all the way up so it's one piece, and all the way down to right here. So we'll have another video on this after I design this part to hold these connectors in place, and we'll see how it looks after that. That's all for now. Ender Extender, over and out.